Okay, Lowe's 2618, video detail customer George. Let me give you a picture of the room here real quick. Left-hand side of the room, we got the sink and the dishwasher area. Back wall is the gas stove with the too low of a microwave. And then we have the refrigerator. The corner over here is the additional cabinets that we're talking about doing. And then the television and stuff in the corner is moving away. But I went ahead and drawn the entire room. So you have the back wall with the window, the large window. Then you have this wall here to the inset. And then the wall I came through is actually the doorway. So the first thing to talk about is the island. The island is a furniture freestand piece. This is not going to be replaced. It is actually staying in the room in situ. The actual size of the island is 48 by 37 or so. I put it on the drawing and did not specify any measurements as far as away from the surfaces because it's portable. So the island itself is not going to really come into our design aspect. Come over here on this side. If you take a look on the cabinets, they're a custom built cabinet. They're all built one piece in some of the pieces, but they're only 16 inches from the counter to the top of the bottom of the cabinet. They drop the cabinets down to make room for the molding at the top. This molding is a 3 5/8 standard MDF type molding, store stock molding. And what we've talked about today is when the new cabinets go in, we'll actually put that same molding back up. A handyman will come in and do it after we're done. After we put a starter trim on it, and that way the projection of the molding will come out an extra inch, and it'll hide any kind of caulk line or any kind of damage that might happen when we tear that out. So that way the cabinets will actually be still 12 inches deep, but the 1-inch projection on the actual starter trim will make that molding come out an extra inch, and it'll hide that paint line that's up there. You see the valance here? Customer wants to get rid of the valance, but inside the lighting is kind of tight to the wall. So I'm not sure if the actual molding will go behind that, but it is a dressed corner, so the paint's already been done there. It shouldn't be a problem at all with that. Make sure though that when we're doing the cabinets at 36 inches height, that we actually are doing the return, like I say in here, accounting for the material we need for the starter trim return on the inside. Take a look at this area here, zero margin. The actual cabinets come right up to the window trim. Same thing here, zero margin all the way to the window trim. Take a look at the top deck of this. It's about 14 inches wide, the width of the window. It's tiled. At this point, we're saying that's staying. One thing about the countertops that's unusual is the customer is going to try to call the company that did the countertops originally and have them come out and remove the countertops and reuse them. Okay, so a couple of things that I've given you the top length here, which is 39 inches. I've given you the countertop length overall for this and the center line of the sink. Those are all things that have to go back exactly where they came from. The frame measurement I've given you from this wall left-hand side to the edge of the dishwasher has to be the same length because we have a footprint in the tile floor. The customer, I've showed her a couple of the apron sinks as well. And as far as the countertops go, the countertop could be cut and modded for that actual apron sink to be replaced. So that might be something she's interested in. Otherwise, she'll just reuse the sink she has in the faucet. This is seamed at the sink center line, seamed in the front and the back. So the likelihood of getting this out of here is kind of low, but if the guys come in and melt the epoxy, they might be able to get the pieces out without damaging anything. It is something that she's going to handle with her stone company, not something we have to deal with. Now, underneath the sink, one thing we talked about today was that she would like to have some certain cabinets for sure that were plywood and some of them that are standard construction. Under the sink, she definitely would like to have a plywood cabinet. I've got copper lines for the valves coming up from underneath, and I've got PVC through the wall there. So everything here is just standard. It's not any galvanized or any kind of older pipe systems. So this should be no problem as far as taking this apart and reworking it for our cabinets. Dishwasher again is being reused. The gas stove is being reused. Let's talk about this microwave. I mentioned it a minute ago. This is crazy. It's way too low. So above a stove, there needs to be a 23-inch gap. 23 to 24 inch gap above the stove for the microwave to be attached, because the stove is so hot when it's gas, it literally cooks the electronics of the microwave. So we need to make sure when you do this design, we do not want the microwave even with the bottom of the cabinets. It's probably going to be about 3 inches maybe that'd be 21, so it'd be 3 inches or 20, about 3.5, 4 inches above the bottom edge of the cabinet. So on the left and right cabinets, the left one and the right one, probably want to do those in plywood edge cabinets as well, so we don't have any problems with any kind of finish issues from the heater of that area. But then on the upper cabinets, standard construction could be used anywhere that the edge of the finish doesn't have to be exposed. So that way you have a little less expense on that. Now, one thing we talked about today was a voided corner section in this room that is 39 inches by about 38 inches. And so the only way to do this is to put a real small door like this was before with an access to a corner that's impossible to get inside of. So what we talked about doing was a 3x3 or a 2x3 according to the overlay of the door. If it's standard overlay, you can get smaller opening. But a 27 by 27 space in the corner, and then doing like a drawer stack here on the left hand side, and doing like a pull out base pantry storage, something with a spice drawer or something, pull out tall door there. And then that gives her a better use of this corner since she's adding the cabinets on down the run. Now here, this is a 15-inch countertop, 15-inch base. This tile floor definitely has a footprint. So when we start looking at laying this out, we got to make sure that we keep this footprint in mind and make sure that we don't put fillers so tight at that other end that we can't move some of this around. Now, on the old cabinets, you can see they actually had to cut the top of the cabinet to get that refrigerator fit in. This one is staying. It's 71 inches tall to the edge of the hinge trim. It's 36 inches wide. So we got to make sure we leave at least a 38-inch space for this. I was looking at the wall refrigerator 37 if you're doing a KraftMaid with maybe the M panel built in on the left, M panel built in on the right. It is 32 inches deep, just like a regular refrigerator that we have to deal with every day. Now here's the special area that we've been talking about adding. About 104 inches of space here. And again, behind this, I know there's a little receptacle. There's too long of a wall without it. So that receptacle will need to be part of our work order to bring that up above the countertop to add that receptacle above the counter space. But the customer's talking about this being something like maybe tall doors here with some drawer storage in it. She would like it to look a little bit more formal than just kitchen cabinets. And then as far as the depth of it goes, the piece that's here now is only 18 inches deep. And it really fits well with where the center of the actual table is with the lighting. If we went with a 24 deep or so, it's going to start getting into this walk area around the table. So you might do a transition after the refrigerator end panel to like an 18-inch depth or a 21-inch depth. And that way we don't have as much encroachment into this room, but we still got the depth of the cabinets. Also on the upper cabinets, maybe talk to the customer about doing a 14-inch deep or a 15-inch deep upper cabinet. See these casserole dishes and stuff that she's storing in this little hutch now? That little guy right there actually comes through the front of the glass door. So if we go with a deeper cabinet, then she'd be able to put glass doors there, and the casserole dishes and other stuff would all fit in there without actually hanging out of the front of the cabinets. This one's only a 12-inch deep top hutch. Television, again, like I said, is going, so no problem there. The electrical down here on the floor below it is outside of 24 inches. There's more than 24 inches to the inside depth of that. It's about 27 to the side of it. And that pretty much wraps up the room. Let me give you a quick look from over here. This is back that direction. And the top molding, again, is a starter trim that is going to use store stock molding, but we will not be installing that. That'd be a handyman or someone, because it has to be painted after it's installed. Have any questions about this? Right here to the left of the sink, she would like to have some of this as rollout trays or large drawer storage as far as that access to that cabinet to the left of the sink. If you have any questions about this, give me a call back at 423-650-1051. Have a great day.